Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're working back on the Ford Transit, and this is a long time coming project. I'm lowering this thing quite substantially because it's just too damn high as a camper. You can't get your stuff up onto the roof. It's just ridiculous. So, and it's because this thing's also got no weight in it. You know, I don't use it at all as a work vehicle. It doesn't need to have this, you know, humongous, huge springs on the back, leaf springs on the back. So I've got a new kit from the UK. I have 50mm lowered front springs to put in, and I also have the leaf springs here, which is going to drop the rear about 100mm. So we're going to start with the rear. As you can see, I've already started jacking up the rear just to get some jacks under there, because we've obviously got to suspend the diff. Then we can start taking the bolts out and doing this modification, I suppose you could call it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to do is just remove the factory bump stop, and that's going to have to be somewhat modified. I don't know, we'll see. I'm just going to take that out. It's a 13mm. That's it. Yeah, so we'll do something with those. I'm not sure yet. We might slice them in half, or yeah, we'll work something out. Next thing we've got to do is remove the bottom shock. Yes, probably the bottom shock mount, because we're going to have to drop the diff a little bit lower. So we'll get the bottom shock mount out, which is that one right there. So I'll just show you here. I've obviously undone the bottom shock mount, which is a weird bolt. One side's a 15 and the other's an 18, but anyway, a good old Ford. So both of those bottom shock mounts are done. Now we're just going to come across over here and do this back one of the leaf. We're going to do front and back, and then we've got to take off those 4 on either side, and that'll free up the leaf springs, and then we can wrestle them out and see how fun that's going to be. Right, let's get this bolts here out first.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that one there's undone. I've just left it in because obviously it's under tension still, so we'll just leave that. Come around the back to the other side. So we've got these ones to undo now. Done. Okay, on to the other side. Okay, so the next are these bolts here, which are a 21, and I didn't have a deep socket 21, so the spark plug one, it works a treat. Let's bang these out. Okay, so that's that in terms of bolts. Now we just have to loosen these off, give them a whack with a nylon hammer, and then we have to knock out the bolts back and front, get the tension off them first, and then we can rest the diff down onto some stands and then get the new leaves put in. Okay, let's keep going. Okay guys, so what we've done is obviously just remove the U-bolts and this part here that's on top, like so. And now I'm just resting obviously the diff on the jack, so you can see here she's just floating, which has taken all the tension off these guys now. So all we've got to do is remove the bolts either side and get these suckers out of there and put the other ones in. I can show you the other ones. They're only a single leaf because we're dropping the height down, and that's what they look like. So they're still pretty beefy, and they're specially made, custom made for this application. So all right, let's start removing some bolts. There we go. So manhandled it out just basically the back bolt was easy. All we've done now is we've just got to clean this face up here, take this shock off because we're not using this one because it's going to be way too long, and we've got a custom shock for it. So we'll go and get those, and then we can get a shock mounted and get the new leaf spring mounted. All right, so here's the you can tell the difference in shocker. There's a big difference there. Good old Gaz shocks, and they're actually adjustable too, which is fantastic news. Anyway, let's get these suckers mounted. They go back into their spot like so, and we'll get the bolt on that, and then we can slide our new leaf spring in. Okay, let's get this leaf spring into position. Now, it's going to be the hard part. Actually not so hard at all, because there's our little locking. Good, good. Place that back on top. Put our we're going to knock those into position with our knockometers. Okay, this one here is next, and bolts are undone. We've just got to manhandle him forward and slide him out the front there. Drop these U-bolts back in. So we've just loosely gone and put, nothing's tight yet. Now we need to get those bolts in. You can see this thing's just swinging around, so it should be pretty easy to just line them up. Should be pretty easy, right? It never is. All right, we're going to go with the fronts first, because that's how we did it before. Let's get comfy here. I don't like my chances, but you know, whatever. Okay. That's exactly what I thought. So this thing's got a bit of a twist on it now too. So I think what has to happen is we've got to actually come up now. Yeah, we've got to have to start jacking her up. So come to the front, do a bit of jacking.
2 hours later.
Okay, so we've got these ones tight, we've got the front ones, the front bolt tight, bottom shock is tight, the back one over there is tight, and we are ready to put the wheels on and have a look and see how low this thing is going to be in the rear end, and then we've got to do the fronts. That's the next job. I've got to jack it up, take all the jack stands out, and then drop it down. I'll just leave you guys right here, and you'll be able to see exactly what's going down here. Oh yeah, that's just set it right down. Wow. Now we've got to just drop the front down 50mm and we're going to be good to go. Stay tuned for fronts. Here we go. Guys, so it's the next day and we're going to start fresh first thing in the morning, and I'll just show you what I've done here. Just put some jack stands underneath, under that section, and we'll just put a bit of penetrating WD-40 in this crack here. We've got to crack off the anti-roll bar little arm here, take that off, take this bolt here off, which will free up the shaft here to separate these two parts. We're going to leave the lower ball joint on, this one down here. We're going to leave that on because it's an absolute pain to get off. What we'll do is just put a big breaker bar in through here and just press this thing down and separate it from here. Then we've got to go inside the cab and undo the 3 nuts, and then obviously drop down the strut. So let's get to it. We might start on the other side first, I think. Oh no, we'll start on this side. One of the first things you got to do is take off the anti-sway bar little pin up the top here. You need to use a Allen key in the middle, and then you can wind out 18mm for the actual bolt. So that's just it's a bit of an annoying thing, but that's just the way you got to do it. Pop the the nut back on. Next thing we've got to do is undo this bolt here, and that one is an 18 as well. So we'll just crack that loose first with a breaker bar, and then we can rattle gun it out. Yeah, she's alright. Okay, next is caliper, and they're 18. We'll just break those off. That is way too stiff. Okay, pop them out. Okay, caliper out, that's out. We just take these little clips and bungs out. We need to have a little bit more room for the ABS, this cable, so we just don't want it to be too restrictive because we are going to be dropping this. Okay, just get those out of the way, like so. Okay, next we're going to, now this is ready to press apart, and the easiest way to do it, soak a bit of WD-40 in the crack here, and you can use a pry bar inside there and just yank down on it and it will separate the two, but I just do it the easy way, save my back and all that jazz. So I use a little hydraulic puller just to go from here up inside here and just separate the two. Once that's separated, then we go inside the cabin, and that's when the real fun starts, because then we've got to undo the 3 bolts up the top there. We've got to cut a hole in the sound deadener that's inside, and then we can release the strut. I'll go and get the little puller, show you how that works. Okay, so we've got this little fella, ram. So we just put this little, it's one of these frame repair kits, and it works, pop it in here, like so. And what we want to do is just make sure it's going to go up into that spot, which it is, it's perfect. And then you can see the thing separate. Just pump it, pop the jam. Okay, it's made contact now, and you can see how easily this thing's coming apart. Now what I like to do now is actually put this back in, because if you've only got one person and you undo the nuts inside, you know what's going to happen. This thing's going to come crashing down, and it's not light. So that just gives you a little bit of, once it does pop, it'll just kind of stay there, hopefully. Right, now on to inside the cab. What we do is take out the glove box, that just unclips, and then with the torch, what you're going to do is you're going to come inside here, and see that right there, this little section here of sound deadener, you've got to chop that out with a Stanley knife to release the 3 bolts. So we're going to chop this now. Obviously don't chop any of the bloody wires, otherwise that'd be catastrophic. Yeah, so let's chop that out now with the Stanley. Be very, very careful. Okay guys, so this is what you have to do. Very gently cut a little line around here, and then lift this flap up, and you can see inside there's your 3 13mm nuts that you've got to undo to remove the strut. It's a hard one to get to. So anyway, that's what you got to do. I'm going to quickly crack these with a 13, get them out, and then we'll go from there. So you're back on the outside. Well, so struts out, pretty easy job. Apart from those 3 nuts at the top, they are an absolute terror to get out. So we've now got our spring pullers ready to take some tension up on this. Now I have done the other side already, so this side's actually all done. That's why I thought I'll just video one side. So making sure these are equal on either sides and stay away from the dangerous end, obviously. So work like so. There's not really a lot of tension on these ones, so we'll just crank them down to start with, obviously. That's loose. We undo the top bolt, which is an 18. And remember, this thing is under tension, but the bolt's still on, so we're pretty safe. Pop that off. And then same deal now. We're just going to relieve these very slowly. And we're out. So we'll take this up onto the bench, just give it a clean up, and we've got to reuse this part here, which just pops out. There's the old springs. There's a comparison. That's the comparison for the new springs, so you can see the difference. So I'll just go up and take this up on the bench and give it a clean, and I'll bring you back in. So there we go. That's not one nice new spring. I've just gone and it's just actually resting in here now. You can see here I just wrestled it back together. Now in order to get this back up, we're just going to put the jack underneath here and pump it up. Then we can put our side bolt through, and almost the job is good. All right, let's get the jack over here. Now what we will go and do is we're just going to go and clean this bolt up, and I can put a bit of Loctite on it. Okay, that's in. Now we'll just buzz that in with the ratchet gun. Get that up, nice and tight, tight enough. Get rid of you. Calipers next. Okay, that's in position. Got to go inside, tighten up the inside ones, and then we are ready to put the wheels back on. Okay guys, so she's back on the wheels and down on the ground. You can have a better look at it here. Yeah, that's just bang on. They've done their research. Yeah, amazing job. Definitely have to thank Steve at Mod You Connect in the UK, because they're the guys that have done all the R&D on this for this Transit to look as good as it does. So we're going to go and take it for a test drive, but I'll put a before and after shot of what it looked like. Oh, this is really happy. Cheers again, Steve. And I'll give you a link to this one. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today's effort on the Transit. I've still got some other turbo related things to do to this in a later stage, so if you're kind of interested in van things, stick around. More V-dub stuff coming too. See you later, guys. You.